Welcome to the Confidence in You podcast, designed to help you build confidence and create positive, lasting change in your life. And here's your host, Helen Luxford.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have our next guest on the podcast. Hayley Bath joins us today. Hayley moved from the UK to Australia in 2015 and was planning on staying for just 6 months with a mindset that if it doesn't work out, she can always go home. But she's still here today. Hayley has had her fair share of ups and downs, and some could say she's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. In her life, she's experienced trauma, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, low self-worth, addictions, panic attacks, bad habits, self-harm, anger issues, self-sabotaging behaviours, and feeling completely lost and disconnected from herself. She spent many years of her life numbing the pain of anxiety and depression with pills, substances, and withdrawing from life, and was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, ADD, anxiety and depression, to name a few. Hayley has done the work and reconnected with her soul and experienced a huge amount of personal growth over the years, and today we get to hear about her journey from low to go. Hayley now helps guide her clients to have a life of more acceptance, peace, and of living in the present moment. She encourages them to see and believe it's possible to achieve anything and guides and holds space for them to discover their self-worth, reconnect with self, and learn how to better connect with others, to learn how to be loved and express love and heal themselves and reach for their goals. Hayley lives in Sydney, Australia with her cat, Charlie. Please join me in welcoming Hayley to the podcast today. Welcome, Hayley, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a joy to have you. So for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about your journey so far and how you ended up being a holistic therapist and transformational coach.
Yes, I love the phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm like, oh no, stop. No, carry on. I feel like I have got to points in my life where I couldn't see a way out. I definitely feel like I've hit that rock bottom, and now it can only go up from here. And in my journey upwards, I hope to gain some experience and wisdom in sharing and enlightening others of how they can do it too, because I think a lot of the world right now are struggling and suffering, and we don't necessarily have the mindset tools to be able to know how to rise up from there. You know, a lot of people do end up taking their lives, which is just heartbreaking for me to think about. If I can help one person rise up from that state, my job's done, you know? So this work means the absolute world to me. Me and you, Helen, we go a few years back in the beginning of our journey and starting this journey as becoming healers, which is a true honor to watch each other grow. So it started when I was in England. I moved to Australia 2015, and I said to myself, you know, if everything all goes wrong, I would just go home, and I only planned on coming here 6 months, and wanted to go back to my sister, my twin sister, which I feel played a little part of me being a bit codependent, and why I felt like I needed to numb so much and use relationships and use external things to help me. But we got through it. Everything that went wrong, could have gone wrong, went wrong in the first job that I came over to. You know, I was here 1 week, and I was such a people pleaser and didn't want to speak up, even though I was very much an extrovert. I'm quite an introvert sometimes as well, and I didn't want to step over the mark or upset anyone. And I asked my manager, you know, can I go for a week? He was 2 hours away. Kept it in, ended up getting, you know, urine infection, kidney infection and blood poison. I was in hospital for 3 weeks after just coming here.
Wow.
Had a sexual harassment thing. The girl on the team hated me. And I was like, okay, universe, you proved to me, you know, everything went wrong. And I'm so stubborn and set in my ways that I have to prove not only myself right, but everyone else that I can do this. And that's what I think sets me apart as well from that just pure stubbornness inside of me that I have to do this just to show everyone else that it's possible too. So there's a bit of the rising up. I ended up staying and just wouldn't take it back to the world. I'm meant to be here in Australia doing this work and teaching presence and teaching people to be more conscious, because that's where peace comes from, and that's what I find. There's a little bit, without going too much into it, you know me, I can talk.
So you've obviously had a really challenging time earlier in your life with all of those diagnoses and using pills to numb and all of that sort of stuff. What, obviously you've been really down and hit rock bottom. What kept you going? And how did you, when you were in that really low place, whether it was a long time ago or a little while ago, how have you navigated those down times? And I know you're stubborn, which is a really, that's a good attribute to keep you going, but how have you navigated
how
have you navigated in those really tough times and found that confidence or that strength? Where did you go to help yourself, or how did you navigate and rise up and find whatever you found to help you see the light and become a healer and a therapist?
Yeah. So obviously it's going to be quite different from I noticed you said, like, whether it was ages ago to recently. The way I coped ages ago is going to be very different to how I cope recently. So I mean, a long, long time ago, I would react in resistance, in needing something externally, whether it be weed, whether it be an anxiety tablet, depression tablet, whether it be alcohol. I even got into gambling at one point. I would do everything I could to run away from myself and to actually sit with my feelings. Of course, that was a very temporary fix that left me feeling quite empty and disconnected with myself. So it wasn't something that was going to last. It wasn't sustainable. I needed to find better ways. So you know, now I've come off everything. I don't even drink caffeine anymore. I've come away from the weed addiction. Don't drink alcohol. It's been a couple of years now. I don't need to seek any drama or gossip about anyone because I've done a lot of healing. And there's layers to it. I would say really lean into what's coming up. That was my biggest lesson, of just allowing whatever needs to come up, telling myself now that it's temporary, this will pass, and just reminding yourself that in being your own best friend. You know, how are we ever meant to win if we're not on our own team? You know, I used to absolutely criticize the hell out of myself. I was my own worst enemy. I love the Robin Williams quote around, you wouldn't let arseholes in your house, so why'd you let them in your head? Which is very true.
Yes.
Because we just, you know, imagine your loved one, someone that's meant to love you unconditionally, talking to you the way you talk in your own head. That's where we fuck ourselves over the most, I find. And yeah, really just the best advice I can give is a bit of self-discipline, doing the work, leaning into it. I found that meditation wasn't, like, it helped me a lot, but I was quite resistant to meditate. So breath work worked for me very well. But again, what works for me may not work for someone else. I'm not here to say this is how you should heal. Everyone's very different in how they heal. And it's about feeling into, because only you can know what works for you the best. Obviously, we've got amazing tools. There's hundreds of them out there. Even breathwork, there's hundreds of levels to it. It's really about tapping into what works for you. I love getting in nature. Nature's very healing for me. And just, seeking friends, people that you can actually trust. But again, sitting with it. Sitting with it is the way to just transmute that the quickest, knowing that the universe will never give you more than what you can handle. So reminding ourselves, being our own best friend, of I am capable, I am more than capable of tackling this. I know that my soul needs this for its evolution. Trust in the uncomfortable moments, because they are what bring the growth. And the more we resist, the more it's going to persist and keep going around in circles. I always find we've got one of two choices. resist or grow and evolve. That's it. Just simplify it. I love simplifying things. It's always down to two choices at the end of the day. We live in a world of polarity, so we can't have the light without the dark, the sun without the moon, right without wrong, good without evil. So accept these parts of ourselves, those shadow sides of us that we sometimes don't necessarily like. Maybe other people have pointed them out to us that, I don't like that part of your personality, so suppress it. Put that mask on and be that people pleaser of showing up to that person of who they think we should be. No, those days are gone. I'm going to be the most authentic version of myself so that those people who want me to be someone else or want me to be the person that I'm not for them, I'm going to show that I'm not going to disappoint them anymore, because everyone's just disappointed when we're playing these roles. When we're authentically ourselves, we shine this beacon of light for other people to find us who are meant for us. And we also give permission to other people to be themselves too. We say, you know what, it's safe for you to be you. And for so long, I didn't think it was safe to be me. I thought I'd be judged. I thought I would be abandoned. I thought I would be pushed away and just, all the big things that I feared the most. And look what happens when you take that leap of faith, when you step into the uncomfort. Magic happens. And that's that.
So you touched on a few things there, Hayley, thank you, in that we all have a shadow self. So where we have a strength, we will have an area for development or a weakness, and we can't all be good at everything. And acknowledging and accepting that is really powerful and empowering in its own right, I find. So you spoke about the fact that we have that shadow self and someone says, oh, I don't like that part of your personality, so you suppress it. But just because they don't like it doesn't mean that that's not a strength for you and it's not something that you should shine, because my ethos is we all are here to shine our light. And what you just said, we attract those people into our sphere that want to be there, and we don't need to hide the shadow, because the shadow is that when we have our down days, and we all have ups and downs, about recognizing that when we're having a down, it's okay. This too shall pass. We will get through it. We have the resources, or we can find the resources. So if we're feeling internally that I'm not able to cope with what's being thrown at me, understanding and recognizing that it's okay to reach out to our community. It's okay to ask for help, because that's part of our human condition, is that sense of community and sense of wanting to help others. So in your journey, to find yourself and to be able to accept all of you, what external resources did you use? Was it books? Was it podcasts? Was it YouTube videos? Was it doing courses? Was it seeing a coach or a counsellor? How did you evolve from where you were to where you are now?
Yeah, thank you for that. That was beautiful, Helen. I love your mindset and the way you think. And you're going to help and are helping a lot of people, which is amazing, because we're teaching this beautiful way of living to everyone that we become a magnet to, who wants to raise their vibration too. So I, back in the day, obviously didn't cope well. I used food. Food was my biggest one. This was my unhealthy way of coping. And if we don't program in a positive, healthy habit to meet our needs, then we will usually go to the negative. So I got to 110 kilos, which was almost 18 stone. And I managed to then change my lifestyle using, I'm going to say a few things coming up, to not even think about that anymore. I was bulimic for 8 years. I forgot to mention that before as well, and managed to come away from that. I had such shame and guilt and fear and judgment around that as well, and a way of control. It was something that I feel like I lost all control of my life and brought that control back in. So letting go of those perfectionisms, looking at the limiting beliefs and clearing them. But for me, I started out at a younger age of seeing counsellors after all this, negative ways of coping and anxiety tablets. I started looking for alternate therapies, natural therapies, ones that I knew were actually really going to help me, like, like the sun, nature, things that we're not really taught about, because, the doctor's not going to get much money for saying, go and meditate, go and get in the sun, that's going to help you heal. And so to begin with, I started just finding natural therapies. I started seeing counsellors, psychiatrists, but then I learned that they only hit you on a 5% conscious level. The rest of our mind is in the subconscious, which takes up 95%, which is where the magic starts to happen. So that's when I really started to heal. When I had an open mind, basically. This is one thing that I learned the most, that I needed to just broaden my horizon, look from a different perspective, come away so that I could see the bigger picture and open my mind and have trust that there isn't just one way of healing. And, self-help books are amazing. I love self-development books. They really help to spark that train of thought for me too, because I love to go deep into philosophy and psychology and anything self-development. So something that sparks your passion, that might not resonate with you. How I healed may not be right for you, but again, there's lots of tips and tricks, like even touching nature, becoming present, breath, really the simplest things in the world that we take for granted and have right at our fingertips are the ones that we often brush to the side and don't think they're as helpful. So really bringing it back to simplifying, especially when you're panicking and things are all too much and they become overwhelming and you just may not be able to think straight. You're in that fight or flight. You can't really, think about all these things. Having that list handy is the best, because when you're panicking, having a list, oh, okay, here, look, on my phone, I've got a list. Okay, music helps me, like putting on a beautiful classical song, breathe into it, becoming present, tuning into your senses, picking up a good book. What else? Let's think. Reaching out to a friend, going for a walk, and also letting out that healthy anger. So if you want to just hit your bloody cushion, throw a cushion against the wall and just go mental, because we've been told that, oh, stop, anger is bad, don't express that. It's because we just haven't been shown how to express it healthily. Let it out, give yourself permission to be human and feel into it. It's because we've been told that these are, oh no, suppress that part of you, that's a negative emotion. No, we don't want that. But just once we accept it in ourselves, we can actually accept it in everyone else as well, and start to give permission for everyone else to, feel safe as a human being, feeling human emotions. Just simplifying it is the best way.
You've touched on some wonderful things there, Hayley, particularly these perceived negative emotions. And yes, anger is not a positive emotion, but not expressing it is not helping. So having anger, when we feel anger, there's a reason. There's something happening for us. There's a trigger, or there's something going on that we are not happy with. The universe is telling us not to be happy now. And so same with sadness and grief and tears and all of that sort of thing. So depending on societal norms, don't express your anger, but we should express our anger. And the best way is to get that cushion and, to bang into it. And if the tears come, let the tears come. It's healthy to cry. It's like the rain washes away, and then the sun comes out. So our tears wash away. And then when we calm down and we calm our nervous system down by expressing these emotions, we can then reset and then look at things differently again. But if we suppress that sadness or that anger or that fear, if we suppress that, we're never dealing with it. And then it just builds up and up and up, and then it will explode like a volcano in a not healthy environment. So learning to recognize and understand ourselves and our emotions and notice that they're rising up. And then it's okay, well, what does this mean for me? I'm not feeling quite right about whatever it is that's going on. What is it? What's happening? And then releasing that, because it's all energy. And if we suppress the energy and we hold it in, we hold it in, we hold it in, it will explode like a volcano. And then that won't be healthy for anyone.
Yeah,
So
no.
sitting with it and feeling that feeling, and then just acknowledging, okay, I've got that feeling. It's not a great feeling. What is it telling me? What can I do differently? Get it out and then look at things differently. It's like small children when they are throwing a tantrum or they're being a little bit naughty and they're misbehaving. An adult yelling at them and telling them to stop it, they're not cognitively able to process that, because when we're in that state, our mind is not able to process normal emotions because we've got a flood of cortisol. Cortisol does actually make you dumb. There's research papers that shows that when we have a flood of cortisol, our thinking ability is reduced. So with children, we need to calm them down and give them a hug to help them get through the tantrum. Then we can tell them that what they did wasn't right and for whatever reason, and they're more open to being able to understand. As adults, if we've always been told to suppress, we haven't dealt with it, we don't know how to deal with it, and then it blows up, and then the situation is a lot worse. So thank you for sharing that with us, because tapping into and understanding those emotions that are perceived to be negative is also really, really important.
And labeling them as well. I think that we cause a lot of discomfort when we label the emotions as positive or negative. What if they just are as they are and they're all just meant to be there? Imagine how much more peace we would all have if we just let it flow.
Yeah.
You know, I think as well as you touched on, our childhood has a lot to do with it. You know, when we fall over as a kid as well, and we're told to just, you know, get up, quick, brush it off, quick, move along. You're okay, quick. You know, we're just like, oh, okay, so we're not meant to deal with that. No, we're not meant to feel it and allow it to be there and accept it, and just learn how to cope better with it.
That's so powerful and so true as well, because yes, we fall over and we hurt our knee. It's okay to sit there and cry and feel it and let it out. Rather than just, oh, no, you'll be all right, get up. If we say, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, we can't fix it. We can't change it because it's happened. I'm sorry that happened to you. Let you have a little cry, then give them a cuddle, and then just say, okay, well, what have we learned from that? We need to look where we're running so we don't do it again. But it's not good or bad. It's not negative or positive. It's just we have all these range of emotions, and some lift us up and some bring us down, and that's okay, because as you said, there is no sun without the moon. There is no yin without the yang. There is no good without the evil. There is no happy without the sad. And so we do need to have times where we're not up, but the secret is to understand, recognize when they're coming, have strategies and ways that we can move through those tough times, those sad times, a bit more quickly than what we would have in the past. And I love that you have your phone and you have your list of the things that you can do to bring you back. And a thing that I do with my clients is I ask them to create a list of 5 things that they can have on their phone or a note in their notebook, that when they're feeling down, what is something they can do. So music is very powerful, and it could be classical or it could be heavy metal, it could be pop, it could be whatever you want it to be, but whatever resonates with you to help you shift and move your body and feel a little bit different about that emotion that you're feeling and being able to work through it. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
What would you say in your life, because you've travelled and you've had ups and downs, what would you say is the most memorable thing you've done in your life?
Oh, let's go with my most recent one, I think, with the bungee jump.
Oh my God.
That was, especially doing it as an adult as well. Like, I am an adrenaline junkie for sure. But that for me was a big one, because it wasn't just a bungee jump for me. It was me showing the universe that I am ready to leap, not just step into my power, to freaking leap. And I wrote down everything I wanted to leave behind, everything that I was ready to let go of. You know, the playing small, the to make other people feel comfortable. Not doing that anymore. Playing big. We are showing up. We are shining the light, and helping put myself out there to help people heal. You know, I closed myself off for a long time, and that was what disconnected me from myself. So this bungee jump was powerful because the last time I went up there was when I actually did an East Coast trip, probably about 6 years ago. And I did the little bungee swing up in Cairns. It was like a smaller one. And I walked to the top of the bungee jump, and I remember saying to myself, no, that's too scary. My heart was pounding. And I said, no, couldn't do that. And that stuck with me for all these years, saying, never limit yourself, Hayley. Prove to yourself that you can always do it. You are always capable. And this is just a metaphor for everything in our lives. When you say you can't do anything, our mind will often say, you can't do this. And we will often prove our mind wrong. That's why we know energy is powerful and our thoughts are just thoughts, because you know what? They're not even our thoughts anyway. They're probably someone else's, your mums, your dads, your peers, people around you, going back generations. So when you really tap into who am I on a soul level without these words, without that limit of separation, and just tap in, you always know who you are. And I love what you use a lot, as well as asking yourself questions like, what did I learn from this, rather than going from a victim state of you know, this is happening to me, to I have control, and I can empower myself in this is happening for me. What is this here to teach me? You know, 97% of the world actually live in this victim state. So how can we empower ourselves in coming into the 3% of living consciously and living from a state of I've got a choice and I can empower myself. So I love the asking questions, because you get to tap into your unconscious mind then as well. And you can actually find answers that you did not know were ever there, you know, consciously, which is pretty cool as well. Just to tap into that beautiful energy. So we always have everything we ever need inside of us. It's just learning the tools, tips and strategies of how to get there and how to tap into that intuition and being a clear vessel and a channel for this beautiful guidance and intuition to come in.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So you've obviously put yourself out there, and 6 years ago you couldn't have done it, and now you can do it. So you've done a lot of work. What is the one thing that has given you the most self-belief and helped your self-esteem or raised your confidence? Has it been a book, a movie, a video, YouTube, a course?
Oh God, yeah, like lots of things in one. Like, it's all about actually baby steps. Like, yes, there's been amazing books like A New Earth has absolutely changed the way I looked at everything, and it's one of those books where, this is by Eckhart Tolle, where you could pick it up 1,000 times and you'll always get something different from it. It sparks awakenings inside of you. It sparks levels of awareness, and it's just a beautiful book for raising awareness and gaining more peace, similar to Rise Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell. That's one of my favorites. Yes, there have been amazing things along the way, like self-development books. I'm currently reading a Joe Dispenza one. He's amazing. All of his books are beautiful, because they really modernize it as well. I'm not 100% sure if that's a word, but I'm making it one if it's not.
It is.
Yeah. So a lot more modern into our everyday lives, of how we can actually do this work every day, and so it's realistic as well. Not just one of those fancy books, but I've spent thousands and thousands of money on courses as well, just gaining the right education to be able to do this work, to be able to show up as, you know, a healer who is professional and doing the right thing, and just making sure that I'm giving everyone the most up-to-date, best information, wisdom and knowledge that I can, to empower them to the best of my ability and their ability. So yeah, often keep myself updated with courses, but the number one course for me that I first ever did was by Emma Romano, the Family Freedom Protocol. Wowzers, this leveled me up. And then I went on to do my hypnotherapy, my Reiki master, energy healing courses. And then I did most of my other courses with Emma Romano because she just is a legend who changed my world and had a lot of courses to offer me that was just for me. So if you find that person who you resonate with, that speaks your language and your soul, because when you do the work and when you fill up your cup and turn your gaze inwards, you don't need to force anything on the outside world. It just literally comes to you. And you look back and you're like, how did that happen? How did I meet this person who changed my world? And your world can change within one day. But as long as we're just taking those baby steps, one step forward every single day towards your goal or your dream or what it is that sets your soul on fire, within 1 year, you've taken 360 steps to your desired goal and dream.
That's so true. That's so true. If I gave you $86,400 and said you could spend it any way you want, but you had to spend it within 24 hours, what would you do with it? And I've got a YouTube video that explains this on my YouTube channel, that we have 86,400 seconds in every day. But what do we do with it? Because it expires at the end of the day. That's gone. So if you had $86,400 every day to spend on something, how would you spend it? What would you do with it? How would you prioritize that spend? Well, you do have 86,400 every day, but it's seconds and it's time. And time is the most valuable resource that we ever have. You've touched on a few things today, Hayley. You spoke about you use breath work because meditation didn't resonate as strongly with you. Yeah. And last week in my podcast, I spoke about emotional fitness and how we look after ourselves and we worry about our external appearance. So we might go to the gym or exercise or do Pilates or whatever we do, and to look good on the outside or buy a new outfit or a new car or whatever it might be. But how often do we focus on our internal fitness? How often do we focus on our emotional fitness? And you've obviously done a huge amount of work in that space, working on your inner self. And, last week in my podcast, when I spoke about emotional fitness, I talked about there is a variety of different tools out there that you can use for your emotional fitness. It's just like if you want to get physically fit, there is so many ways of doing that. Gym is one, but even at the gym, you've got weights and you've got exercise.
I love that.
Swimming, and you've got all of that. But if you didn't want to go to the gym, you've got every sport on the world that can help you get physically fit. But emotional fitness is exactly the same. We've got meditation and breath work and journaling and colour therapy and energy healing, and there's so many more. Find one that resonates with you and then use that to help you navigate your journey back to self, your journey of self-discovery, your journey to reconnect back with you. And clearly you've done a lot of that. You recently did an ice bath as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah. that was a new experience. Again, it goes all in down the same road of do what scares you the most in order for growth. That's what psychology teaches us. Just to any way I can push myself out the comfort zone, basically. I knew that there were health benefits to it. I've followed Wim Hof for a while. I've been doing his ice showers, cold showers now for the last year and a half. So I feel like this prepared me a little bit as well. Not the whole shower. I have it on warm to begin with, and then it goes cold 30 to 60 seconds at the end. And now I can't have a shower not doing it. I'm quite addicted to it, and it's amazing the health benefits that you get from it. But yeah, the ice bath was definitely different. It was good, amazing, because you go in there and you just become aware of how loud your mind is. And it was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you can't do this, Hayley, just get out, just get out. And then the other side of it, like, you got the devil on this side and the angel on this side, and the other side's going, no, Hayley, don't listen to your thoughts. You can do this. You can do this. Look at all these people. They're going to judge you. You can't get out now. You're going to be the only person that gets out. Just sitting. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Just breathe. I acknowledge these thoughts are here. And often we are just so identified with thoughts. And that's where we go wrong. Because the emotional charge is hyped up so high that we can't see anything clearly because we're just attached to it. So the minute you become back in the present moment, because usually we're in the past or in the future. The past is where we bring on depression. The future is where we bring on anxiety. And although, yes, being a human, we need the past and the future, but not as much as we use it now in our minds. We actually cause ourselves a lot of suffering from being too much in the future or too much in the past. So we need that nice blend of knowing that, yes, we need to set an alarm to get up for work on time tomorrow morning and leave that there, or whatever it is in the future that's happening, and just know that we only experience the future in this now moment anyway. The past is in this now moment as a memory. So really the now moment is the only one that exists. So if we can just acknowledge that all these thoughts are happening, it's all running in the background, and that we're the consciousness behind that, then we will have a lot more empowerment, peace, trust in our lives, where we can just live from a place of inspiration, really live in a place of magic, because it does exist. I've been that girl that lived day to day, not lived, I existed. I got by. I just scraped along, when you're just plugging along, like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I honestly tried to take my life when I was 18 a couple of times because I didn't know any other way through. I thought that was the way out. I now know it is not. And for anyone in that place, please speak up. And I wish that I didn't have so much pride and did speak up and did ask for help, and not think that it was just such a judgment and a shameful thing, judgmental and shameful thing to do. So God, I know that I come away from the story a little bit. I always go off on tangents, okay. But I feel like it's important when it comes up to just go with it.
And you have touched on something really, really important, that depression and anxiety and feeling this lack of self-worth and contemplating taking your own life is really serious stuff. So reach out and ask for help, because the people that are around to help you, people close to you, or trained counsellors, or Lifeline, or Beyond Blue, or any of those other services that are available, they're there to help you navigate and to be able to come back and see things from a different perspective, because in that moment you're not in the right state to be making informed, strong decisions, because your brain is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So being able to reach out and help and ask for help is really, really important. So thank you for sharing that as well. And I'm so glad that you didn't take your own life, because look at you now. You've come through and you're shining a bright beacon of light to help others rise from the ashes as well. So Hayley, thank you for sharing everything you've shared with us today. You've obviously had an amazing experience throughout your life, the ups, the downs. What's next for Hayley Bath? Where to from here? What's coming up in your world?
So I've just completed a beautiful online circle. These scared me a little bit to begin with, and I stopped myself putting myself out there because they scared me a bit, and then I wanted to look into why it was scaring me so much. Really was that fear of judgment, that need for validation, which I know I can validate myself. So I'm really grateful that I've just completed that beautiful workshop with so many beautiful souls. I had 20 people in the end sign up for it, which is amazing, because my first few workshops, we go from a few people, barely getting 10 people to come in, but you keep showing up, you keep being consistent, you keep taking steps forwards. So I've committed for my next workshop to be in person. I'm also going to continue to do regular workshops online as well. Whether in person, I do them online as well. It depends if I can sort the logistics, depends what type of healing modality I'm taking people through. But I'm also going to be running a program very shortly, which is in the woodworks, called The Rising Phoenix.
Fantastic.
And it's going to be, you know, with your help of even coming together with bringing the magic and becoming magnetic for what is truly meant for us, and just helping people who have or are experiencing trauma in their life, helping people who perhaps can't see a way through, people where I've been in that position, because, you know, like counselors and psychologists, yes, you can have all the degrees in the world and bits of paper that say that you can do this thing, but for me, unless you've fully really been through it and experienced it, that's when I feel like someone gets me and that they actually see me and they can give the correct advice and correct help and hold space in a way that is just better for me. And there's no right or wrong, because one way of healing may not work for you, that may work for me. You know, counselors, psychiatrists, there's very much a place for them. And anxiety and depression tablets, yes, maybe we need them at this certain stage of our life, but what I'm saying is we don't need them forever. I had to do a lot of healing around the fact that I used anxiety and depression tablets for 12 years of my life. I got quite upset around this. And this is how I know that there's a part of me that needs healing, because the emotional charge rises within me, that emotion. And when my awareness is raised to it, I can actually spot it and identify it. Okay, there's a trigger. There's this wound that's open that someone else has usually been the trigger for. You know, they're just the salt shaker, rubbing a bit of salt in the wound that's already open within you. They just point to the parts of ourselves that are unhealed. So instead of acting defensively and projecting, like a lot of us do, we're projecting our issues onto other people, onto the world. If we sit back, we sit into it, if we take responsibility for our lives, we can't change what's happened to us, but we can change and choose how we respond. You know, we choose to see that trigger that's inside of me. That's now my responsibility to heal it. So yeah, I love that I've come away from all of this stuff, not needing anxiety and depression tablets anymore after 12 freaking years of my life numbing myself. And now there's no emotion that comes up when I say that. So I've really looked into it and dived deep with it and come away from weed. I haven't had suicidal thoughts in a long, long time, which is amazing. And, you know, come away from needing to use food as a coping mechanism, needing to be addicted to my phone and constantly scrolling. You know, us human beings, we can become addicted to anything. But if we, you know, for me, I want to be addicted to healing, to helping other people heal and grow. So that will all be incorporated in my workshops coming up, my circles, the group sessions, and just showing up more online for people as well. And as well as honouring the times that I need to rest, because we have this very much masculine energy about us, which is very go, doing. You know, probably a lot of your listeners know what masculine and feminine energy is, but we all have it, just a reminder. And for a long time, the world was very much in masculine energy, needing to do, because that's how we were taught. Society told us, you know, 9 to 5, go, do. And when we've got days off, we need to what? Clean the house, get the kids sorted, do this. When are we actually sitting down and resting and feeling our feelings? And, you know, we can be addicted to being busy as well. I did that for a long time, addicted to the masculine, uncentered masculine energy. So now I am moving forward with a beautiful blend of masculine, feminine energy, of allowing myself time to rest, receive, digest, calm my nervous system, and being my beautiful centered masculine who shows up in a way that I can inspire other people to help them and heal and do my stuff, in a more balanced, centered way.
Thank you. That is fantastic. And Hayley's got some wonderful, wonderful workshops and her healing circles, which are open for both men and women. So they are non-gender healing circles. So keep an eye out on Hayley's website for those. And I will put in the show notes Hayley's website and links to her Facebook page and Instagram. But Hayley, for the listeners, where can they find you? Tell us where you're.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as Hayley Bath, and we'll put that in the description as well, because you may not be able to spell it. And then, yes, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook handle is Hayley.Bath, and again, we can link those in. But my website, again, nice and simple. Keep it simple, just your name, hayleybath.com. Head over to there. I offer a discovery call, a free discovery call for anyone wanting to see if us working together as a fit. I see clients one-to-one as well as doing the beautiful workshops, just so that we can have that, personal level of healing and growth together, really on that just one-to-one level where we can get those beautiful results together, and I can fully hold space for you. So yeah, jump over to those places. I'm not really anywhere else, to be honest. I show up mainly on Instagram and Facebook and update my website rarely, but you can book in the call there as well. So
fantastic. So just before we finish today, in one sentence, what's the best advice you could give someone who is struggling at the moment, or who doesn't have confidence or self-esteem, or who's just really not quite sure about themselves? What's the one piece of advice you can give them?
I love how you said one sentence. You're really challenging me now, Helen. Trust, lean into it, know that you are never given more than you can handle, and know that this is temporary. You are more than capable. Let go of the labels and know you are worthy of getting through this. And I was going to go into another bit, but I'm going to leave it at that one sentence.
Thank you so much. And that is so true. Know that you are worthy, because we are all worthy. Sometimes we can't see it for ourselves, so we might want to reach out and ask someone else for some help, but we are all worthy. So thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us. You've inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired our listeners. And I just can't thank you enough for sharing and being so open with where you've come from and where you are today. So thanks so much, Hayley, and we will link all of your connections and how to get in touch with you in the show notes.
Awesome.
Thanks you
for having me.
Bye for now.
Bye.
And thank you for listening to the Confidence in You podcast. Follow Helen on Instagram, Helen Luxford 100, on Facebook, Helen Luxford Coaching and Hypnosis, and on YouTube, Helen Luxford. And access more free resources on Helen's website, www.helenluxford.com. Music, Sunbeam by purpleplanet.com.